Welcome back to You Are Your Business podcast. And I'm excited today to be chatting with you about showing up, showing up for events, showing up for community, and just showing up for the life in your dreams. So, one of the things I've really realized within business is attending events. And I recently attended a High Vibe Women. They had a special 2-day event, and I joined that because I've done a lot of their events, but I really love the power of the community, the women that show up, like everyone supports each other. There was people there that had just started business like 6 weeks ago, to people who've been in business for like years, to people who've made $1 in business, to people who are making 7 figures. And the women that show up, they all pour into each other. They're of service. They're excited for each other. They're collaborating. They're connecting. It just is such a very heartfelt community. And I was just so grateful to one to have met Christina Maria and to have been working with them for a couple of years now within my own business, and then to be able to join and attend these events. And one of the things I wanted to share about at this event is Ashlee was there and she did a breathwork session. And so I'd experienced breathwork before, but it was like a 10-minute kind of breathing exercise that happens in a room full of people. So you don't never really know like what transformation or what's going to happen throughout it. And so, anyways, as I'm sitting there and doing this breathing, I just had this profound realization and knowing that came over me. And my mom had a business. I grew up on a flower farm. And I always heard like my mom's business doesn't make money, just the dialogue that kind of happened between my parents. And I tried really hard not to embed that within my own life and business, but things get passed down, right? Our mindset and stuff. And my grandma also had kind of like a See, I'm even using the language. Had a business, but it was more of like a side business kind of thing. She did a lot of like crafts and stuff like that. So growing up, I remember my grandma making crafts and like sometimes being at craft shows. I remember my mom anytime there was like more than 3 cars outside our house, I had to go out and help with like the customer service side of things because, we couldn't leave customers standing and waiting while my mom was helping somebody. And I remember overhearing conversations I think my mom used to sell like, we had perennials and dried flowers. And I think it would be like 3 perennials for like $1 or like, my mom was way undercutting herself and like way lower price. I always tell her she had the business before her time because if social media was around when she ran her business, I was like, Mom, you'd be like complete game changer. Anyways, so I remember listening to conversations of people saying to her, like, oh, can I give you this much? Or really, that's kind of expensive. And just like my mom's body language when people would say that to her, my mom's like her even her language that she would use kind of thing, like she almost had this like guilt around it, like asking for money and receiving money from people. And I love my mom so, and I know my aunt's probably listening, so no shade about any of this, but these are just things that I came to realize. So anyways, I'm at this high vibe woman event and we're sitting there having this breath work, and my grandma's recently like passed on, but I had this like profound like inner knowing come over me that like it stops with me. So I am here. Actually, I wrote notes because I was wanted to make sure I was saying it right. So I had this image of my mom and my grandma, and this knowing and this voice saying, it stops with me. Enough is enough. We are all value. We all have worth. We all deserve to live the life we want to live and show up for ourselves and have the confidence and the trust and the knowing in ourselves. And my mom and my grandma are so talented, but they were lacking that trust and that inner knowing in themselves and that confidence. And now with myself raising 2 young girls, it's like it stops with me. I'm not passing that on to them. And my mom and grandma did the best that they could do in the time that they were in, right? So it was just such an amazing experience and just showing like what's possible and just reminding me to like lead from my heart, serve from my heart, knowing that I have gifts out into the world and that I can share them. And there's people here that I can be of value of and I can help and be of service. And so the reason I'm sharing this is because I've noticed a common pattern within my own life and within my own business is I give a platform for other people to use their voice, which I'm grateful for. I love connecting with people. I love sharing with people, but this is the second time I've done this now. So when I started my wellness business, I used to do feature Fridays. And then when you look at my social media, I looked like I was just like a marketing agency sharing about other businesses, not sharing about my own wellness business that I had, because you would see all these other people posted on my feed and nothing sharing about myself and my business that I could do. And then I realized from this event, I was like, I'm not showing up and sharing my voice. I have this amazing podcast. I have my amazing Instagram platform to be sharing with people. But when I went and looked back at my Instagram, all I saw was posts of other people that were on my podcast. Nowhere in there am I sharing my leadership skills. Nowhere in there am I sharing my value. Am I sharing what I have to give, what I have to offer? So again, I love connecting, but I'm hiding behind something and I'm giving other people that platform. And I still want to continue to do that, but I realized I want to show up and start giving more solo episodes. I want to be able to share the things that I know, give tips, give inspiration. So all this came from an event and doing a breathwork session with Ashlee. So all this to say that, you're going to have times in your life, you're going to have times in your business that you are kind of trugging along. And then it's like you have this kind of like awakening. You're like, okay, this worked before. However, I'm choosing different. And I'm going to choose now to show up and do more solo episodes. And yes, life gets busy. But one of the things that I love with Chris and Lori Harder, and I listen to their podcast all the time, is they make the time. And even if they don't have the time, they just make it happen. There's no excuses. And so I was finding I wouldn't want to show up because I'm like, oh, my hair's not done. I don't have my makeup on, or I don't look, polished a certain way because I had this, thought that I need to look a certain way or act a certain way to show up online, which isn't the case at all. They shared that they would just record from their phone. I've done that before. I've recorded from my phone in like the grocery store parking lot when I had a thought. So I'm like, why am I not sharing these intuitive hits as they happen? Why am I not sharing this drops of wisdom as they happen? And so I'm here sharing. I want to show up more in solo episodes. So to turn this back around for you, what are things that you are not showing up confidently doing? Where are you not sharing your gifts? Where are you giving your voice away to other people? And what can you start to do within your own business and show up for your dreams that way too? Bye for now.